Okay, we're recording. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Sati. Today's Sati, and we are going to be talking about motivation and inspiration. I love this. I really, really love this. This is something that took me a long time to kind of wrap around my head. As simple and easy as it sounds, like, okay, motivation, inspiration, it's like self-explanatory. But there's so much to it, you guys. And I really want you to hear me out today because it's going to save you a lot of frustration and heartache. And it's just going to put you in the right direction for success. So do you ever feel like you're not motivated? You don't even, you feel like you're on cloud nine sometimes, like everything in your business is going the right way. You are like, all your efforts are paying off. Like you're doing the right thing. You're having conversations, you're booking the parties, your sales, like everybody you reach out to wants to order or party. And you're like, wow, okay, like this is happening. It's falling into place. And then it stops. And then your motivation stops with it. Okay. And we always say, like, your business goes up and down and up and down. And the quicker you realize that and just kind of work with that and know that you'll come out of it as soon as you, like, as quick as you go into it, you'll come out of it. But motivation is self-driven. So there's nothing that I can do to motivate anybody. There's nothing you can do to motivate your team. There are a few things that you can do to motivate yourself. And one of the biggest questions I get from seasoned leaders, from new consultants, from new leaders is, if I do a coaching call, I'll ask honestly, like, do you not know what to do? Like, do you feel like you're not in the right direction, or you need guidance and direction and clarity? Or do you just feel like you don't have motivation? And probably 85% of the time, I just don't have motivation. And it's real. It's real. I'm not motivated all the time just because, like, I have results. Like, these are the things that I'm going to share with you today that keep me going. But you have to find that within yourself in your personal life, because what motivates me may not motivate you. And then we're going to talk about your team a little bit. Okay. So motivation isn't something that you're always going to have. It's not dropped on your lap. And what happens when you hit those dips? You'll hear the term dip a lot. And that just means when you start to slide back down, because you're not always going to see results, right? You guys know my weight loss analogy. Like, you go to the gym, you eat right every day, you're working hard, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. But, like, why are you not losing 10 pounds a day? Because it's just not the way it works in life. And it's the same thing with your results. You could be doing something, you could be doing this the right way, doing all your income producing activities. You know that you're hitting the ground hard, and only you know that. You can say, like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, you know if you're doing everything that you could be doing or not. Okay? So even when you feel like you're exhausting all of your avenues, sometimes you're not going to see the results. But that doesn't mean give up. That does not mean give up. That just means that you'll come out of it. I promise. Because everybody goes through it. And if that alone can make you feel better, know that everybody, Jennifer Anderson goes through it, Kristen Ingalls goes through it. I mean, Heidi Norville go through it. Everybody goes through it, you guys. Even without Sensi, everybody goes through ups and downs. Don't have unrealistic expectations about this business, and that, like, you start seeing results and you're like, I got it. Now I'm going to sit back, put my feet up because I'm doing it right now. No. Again, this business is always changing and evolving. And you as a person, your teammates, their whys change, their motivation changes. Everything is constantly changing. Okay? So you have to figure out when you're in those times of like, oh, I just don't feel like it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm sick. My kids are sick. You have to think about, like, why are you doing this? Goes back to your why. Remember, first video, it goes back to your why. All of these videos are linked to another. Every single one of them. They're all linked. It's a cycle. Okay. So you have to go back and think about why you're in this. It doesn't have to be this big, exhausting, emotional, like make you cry reason. Some people it is, and that's awesome if that's why you're in this. But you have to think about what it is that's keeping you in this. And that reason just needs to be good enough to keep you fighting. Okay? Because when you're unmotivated, Scentsy is the first thing that you're going to justify that can go. I don't need it. My husband works full time. We're doing okay. Right? If I don't work this week, it's fine. It's not. It's not. So that means you don't really know why you're in this yet. Me, I'm in this because this is what pays my bills. Okay? So if I'm not working my business, come the 10th of next month, I'm going to be feeling that. And I'm going to be kicking myself in the ass, being like, okay, like I'm feeling that now. My laziness, right? I was compromising what I want most, which is my financial freedom, which is paying my bills, which is having the life that I want. Honestly, I'm financially driven. I'm honest about it. I will never give up on myself again. Always gave up on myself. Always gave up on myself. I'm never going to do that again. Okay? Those are the things that keep me in this. And I know that this is my livelihood. This is my career. This is also what makes me genuinely happy. So I'm going to go for it. Even when I know it's hard, life is hard. Scentsy is not going to be the first thing that I put down when my life gets hard. It's going to be what I dig into, because I know in so many aspects of my life, Scentsy has like flipped my world upside down. And I've seen the benefits of it. And if you haven't yet, please know that it is right in front of you. And your hard work will pay off. As consistent as you are, you'll get there. I promise. Okay? You got to know why you're in this. That should keep you in it. Okay? When you don't feel like it, when you're feeling lazy, we just want to procrastinate, when you're like, it doesn't matter, right? That means that you're not in this for a strong enough reason. Okay? And if you're on this call, I mean, you're like, again, you guys are next level here with your leadership or what you want. You're showing up. So you should really think about to yourself what you want. Okay? And it takes people a long time sometimes. You don't really like get down to the core of like why you're doing this or what's going to keep you in it. Okay? It's hard. You're building a business from the ground up. You're considered a franchise business owner. It's hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's not. It's hard, but you can do it. So when I'm unmotivated, I know what will motivate Colleen. I know. And I have to seek the motivation that I need. So number one, I surround myself with people that will hold me accountable, that will motivate me and keep it 100 with me. Okay? I surround myself not with people that are, what is the word? Not like just here to appease me or tell me what I want to hear. Mm-mm. I like people that tell me like honesty. I love honesty. It hurts sometimes to hear it. Trust me. I've heard some harsh things from Jennifer Anderson. She is my mentor. And she has said some hard truths to me, but you guys, it's made me better. It's made me better in every way. And that's the information and the knowledge and the motivation and just like inspiration and the people that I need in my life. That's who I crave, because I know it's going to get me to where I need to be. It's hard. Yes. But if you're looking to stay comfortable, then you're only going to get minimal results. Okay. And you don't grow in your comfort zone. You've heard all this stuff before, but it's true. So I surround myself with people that push me, that drive me. Okay. I watch people on social media. I try to eliminate all negativity, like pessimist people. it's funny. Not that I was ever negative. I don't think I was ever a negative person, but I think I surrounded myself around it more. And now I almost have no tolerance for it. Like I see people on social media and I'm like, ugh, like it makes my blood boil almost. Like I cannot be near it. Right? Because I've really thought about what I need, not just in this business to succeed, but who I really want to be as a person, right? And I don't want negativity around me. I don't want people that are like, will me or complaining. Like, I'm just being real. That's not what I want in my life. So I surround myself with go-getters, with positive people, with true, genuine, loyal people, right? I'm going to be 40 years old. Like, I don't need that crap. We're not in high school anymore, right? So my circle may be getting smaller, but my value and my quality is getting bigger. And when I have that high quality in my life, like I have the motivation and the inspiration to be the best person I can be, the best version of me, the most motivated version of me. So who you surround yourself, there's a saying that if you are like the combination of the top 5 people you surround yourself with. So true. You pick up habits and like mannerisms from people and like words and stuff from people that you surround yourself with. It's so true. It's so true. I catch myself saying things sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so like, it's so funny. Another thing that I do is I follow social influencers, people that motivate me. Rachel Hollis, Jenna Kutcher, Bob Heilig, those people, there's so many of them. People that I pick up every day. Gary V, you guys ever heard of him? He keeps it real. He keeps it 100. He's sweary type, but so am I. And I know that when I am feeling unmotivated and blah, and like, I don't want to do this, I know that I have to seek the information and the motivation. So I'll go watch some of their videos. I'll listen to their podcasts, right? That's some of the things that I can do that I know motivates me. I'll schedule a call with Jennifer Anderson instead of avoiding it and being like, I don't want to own up to being lazy and procrastinating and just like, she's going to say, well, what are you doing? What have you been doing? Why? Sometimes like, you don't want to hear it. So you avoid those people, right? You're just like, I know what you're going to say. So let's not talk about it because I know what I can do to get out of it, but I just want to be in this moment and sit in my comfortability. So leave me alone. We all do it, right? Those are the habits you got to get out of, you guys, because you need to find people that will be loving to you, like they motivate you and they tell you the truth in the most loving way. Because if it's not coming from a loving place, cut the ties. If people say things to make you feel bad, cut the ties. You don't need it. We have too much going on in life. Okay? Surround yourself with people that tell you the truth because they want the best for you. Okay? The other thing that, is a natural motivator is results. Results. You're like, okay, but how do I get there when I'm not feeling motivated? It's when you know you have to put your head down and get to work because right? It's all about mind control, you guys. It really is. You have the ability to control your own thoughts. You control it. Okay? So don't if something is feeling bad, acknowledge it, swallow it, and move on. Okay? Because if you're not going to do the work, you're the only one that's going to suffer. Okay? Not your upline. Because again, like if somebody on my team is not going to work, okay, I'm sorry. Like I really wish, the best for you. I want you to be happy no matter what that looks like. But I'm going to keep building my team no matter what. Okay? Because I'm not going to put my goals, my livelihood, my dreams into somebody else. I'm going to work like it's nobody's business because I'm going to make it happen for myself. All right? So results are always going to be a motivator. Always. Once you start seeing the results, it builds that momentum. And then it's like a snowball, right? And then it gets you back to that place. But acknowledge the fact when you're feeling unmotivated sometimes and be like, okay, this is where I am. This is what I got to do. Okay? And you're going to get into the habit of kicking your own pants. I'm like, there's children around. I know they can't hear me, but now I just feel bad. I don't want to swear, but you're going to kick your own pants because you're going to be like, okay, I'm better than this. Like if I want the results, going back to your why, then, okay, this is what I have to do. Okay. No more excuses. Excuses are hard. We've always been able to rely on excuses. Always. I mean, I justify them. I'm like, this is reality. Okay. Like I really like start to feel bad for myself or like, this is what it is. But no, again, control the thoughts that come into your mind and be stronger than that. You're not going to pass away. You're not going to get sick from putting in the work and working hard. You're not. It's going to be hard to break bad habits, but I promise you'll develop better habits. And then you'll see that success that you want from this, that you want. Okay. Your team. How do you motivate your team? You don't. The only way that you could motivate them is if they already really want it. Okay. Then you can kind of breathe life into them and practical tips into them. You can do that. But most of the time, you guys, it's going to take people a while to catch that vision. Like raise your hand if you came into this and you weren't instantly sold on the opportunity of a business, but now you've kind of, your vision has evolved into, okay, I see what's in front of me, right? Raise your hand if that's been you. See? Every one of you. Like think about your team. They're the same way. Okay. So if you can't motivate your team, you can inspire them with your actions. Okay. So show them what you're doing. Okay. Like, when I first joined, I saw a video of Kristen Ingalls. She was doing like a home party and she was talking about how to like set up something. And it was a super easy, tangible, practical tip she was talking about, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I love that. And it got me thinking and it inspired me to start thinking about something else. And then I came up with my own idea. Like her actions inspired me to do something else. Okay. When we talked about Michaela, I remember last call, we were talking about like, not reinventing the wheel and doing your own videos and things like that, right? Us here, we are the 5%. Most people in this business are the 95%. The people that are not actively working their business, the people that are not like, they don't see the vision, they're not working their tails off and like actually doing the income producing activities. You're here. You're already the 5%. Okay. And I guess for the general population, you know, reinventing the wheel, that's not helpful to anybody. Right. But when I first joined and, you know, I was training myself, I would watch Kristen and Chloe's Boss Babe Basics, like OG Boss Babes, like all of those trainings. And it inspired me to be a better leader. And I would watch them and be like, yeah, I get it. Right. And then it inspired me to work my business better. And then I wanted to share it with my team. Okay. So what they did inspired me to do my own, right? Of course, my business, I was working my business. Those are extra things. But what other people's actions did was inspire me to be better. So your actions cannot motivate your team, but they can inspire them. Okay. So going back to, you lead from the front. Okay. You've got to lead from the front. You can't, there's a saying, you can't inspire unless you're inspired. And that is 1000% the truth. If you're not motivated, if you're not, you know, walking the walk and talking the talk, you guys, if you're not excited about your business, if you're not seeking the information, the knowledge, the education, and the motivation, the inspiration yourself, you're going to have nothing to share with your team. Okay. But a bunch of opinions like we talked about. So you have to build your truths. You have to build your truths and work on sharing it with your team to inspire them. They will see it and they will catch it. Okay. But you have to work on your truths. It can't just be, this is what you should do. They have to see you doing it, and you can share with them and inspire them. Michaela?
Yeah, so I just had a question, and I wonder if like some of the new leaders also feel this way, and I want to see what like the seasoned leaders have to say. Sometimes like I love when you guys share about your business, the way you're doing things, like you, Jess, and Janelle all inspire me. When I do it with like my team, like I don't want to sound showy, but I don't know if this is me going back to the thought of when I first started Scentsy, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to sound scammy, and like it's like a false truth that I'm telling myself. But at the same time, like I never feel like you guys are this way, because you guys are so genuine about the way that you deliver how you work your business. How do you like tell yourself or like monitor yourself to make sure that you're not sounding like show offy?
Well, what do you like? Do you feel like you don't want to be like, I'm the leader, or you feel like what you're saying isn't valuable? Like, why would you feel like that?
So I guess I feel like this because I don't want to say like, I don't want to seem like I'm their boss or I'm their leader, because we're all our own bosses, right? And I feel like that's like, like a good sell for like Scentsy. Mm-hmm. But also I don't want to sound like I'm always doing it right, or like I always have the right idea, because there's so many other ways to do it. That I feel like when I deliver how I am working my business, I'll like precursor it with, oh, but you don't have to do it this way, but it's okay if you don't. And then I sound like wishy-washy. Yeah. So what is like your tactics for delivering your message and being confident in like what you do to your business, but not sound like an imitator? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think that you just need to do it. I think that you'll get into the habit of just being a leader. This is kind of not a new role, but newer for you to really like throw yourself into it like this on this level. I think that maybe.
I think you're overthinking it too. You're definitely overthinking it, because when I do it, I just want you guys to know that I'm doing it too. I'm not just like, oh, hey, I'm relying on my whole team. I want you guys to see that I am also putting in the effort, because I still have to work my business. So I kind of put it as like last week, I shouted myself out when I usually don't. But I wrote, I'm shouting myself out so you guys know that I am still working my business, because I have personal numbers that I have to hit. So I think if you lead it off like I need to work my business and not like overthink of what you're doing, then you'll be fine. Like you probably post fine, just leave out no, you don't have to do it like this. Just say, here's some tips, or this is what's working for me. You shout out what's working for you, and we can all work off of each other.
This is what I'm doing. This is what's working for me.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I do the same thing, Michaela. At first, when I first had my team, I was like, oh, I don't want to brag about myself. But when I talk to all my teammates, I say, this is what I do. And this is what works for me. Like Jess just said, this is what works for me. And I give them examples. And I don't say to them, you don't have to do it that way, but I just give them the examples and let them go off that. But I just say, always start out like, this what works for me. And then I tell them what I do. But I don't follow it up with like, oh, you don't have to do that. I just leave it at that.
Okay.
You could leave it with like, what works for you, like to get your team engaged.
Right. I mean, I have one girl that, she doesn't even realize what she's doing, and she's like blocking this right now. And I say to her, I'm like, Rachel, whatever you're doing well. She's like, but I don't think I am. I'm like, oh, no, you are. I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. I go, but if you feel like you're not, I go, just tweak it a little. So it works for her. What she's doing works for her. It's not going to work for everybody. And what I do works for me, and it's not going to work for everybody. But that's what I tell them. I'm like, this is what works for me, and I leave it at that. I don't follow up with like, oh, you don't have to do it. Like Jess said, don't overthink it, Michaela.
And you know what? Just keep putting the information. Like you can do one-on-one. If you do one-on-one coaching calls, right, Michaela, you can hear what they need from you, and you can say, well, this is what I do, right? This is where you might be able to start. Listen to what they need. But if you're doing like just videos or trainings on the team page or something, just keep putting the information out there, and whoever needs it is going to take it. But be confident because you have a lot to offer, right? And like everybody I feel like is a new leader kind of feels like that. Like, I'm not trying to step on toes. I don't want them to think that I'm saying like, this is what you should do, or this is what you need to do. But honestly, a lot of people do need guidance, and they're looking for that. And they need direction and clarity, and you can offer that. And again, right? Like, I never, ever, ever saw anybody, just like you're saying you don't see that in us. I never watched a video thinking, well, they're being bossy, or, you know, I don't like what they're doing. It inspired me to do like my own thing, right? Or I could do exactly what they did and try it that way, or I could put a different spin on it. So you keep doing what you're doing because they clearly see that what you're doing is working, right? Now, if you are going, this is a perfect point. If what you were saying you were not doing, and you were not seeing results and walking the walk and leading from the front, then what you would say would sound ridiculous, and it's just your opinion. And they would be like, eye roll, because there's no truth to it, right? But you are creating results, and they know that, okay? Your team knows you're creating results because they're watching you, and you are creating results. So if you can keep sharing what you're doing, you have a lot to offer. I would say step into it more than back out of it more. Okay? Because you do have a lot to offer. You don't see it yet, but all of us do. So step into it a little bit more. Okay? And just keep putting it out there. Whoever needs it is going to take it. I sometimes have the same conversations over and over and over, because sometimes people just aren't ready to hear it.
Thank you, ladies. That was really helpful. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Can I just add to that real quick?
Yes.
I think because Michaela is my upline, right? I joined under her, and being on that page that she's talking about, I definitely like the encouragement and the confidence, right? Michaela, when you post the post, the confidence that you portray is inspiring. So when you're like, this is what I'm doing, this is working, I'm killing it, like, you know, not that you put it in those words, but that's how when I watch it, I'm like, wow, she's like really killing it, and like she's confident in herself. When you're not confident in what you're saying, people don't listen. So the more confidence I think that you have, the more inspiring you are. I just wanted to add that.
5,000%. 5,000. It's coming from somebody on your team, in your upline and your sideline and everybody else. Like, for all of you, like, you guys have more to offer than you think you do. But this is why you're here. You're seeking more knowledge and information to move forward. So build your truths, share your truths. And again, just like what we're saying to Michaela, right? Like, she can share and keep sharing and putting that information out there to her team because she's walking the walk and talking the talk. It's not just her opinion about what she heard would work. She's doing it. Okay. So she can talk to people about sponsoring. She could talk to people about, you know, what she's doing on social media, like all these things, because she's doing it, and they know that, right? So they're going to want more from her. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? Like, I want to know when Jess and Janelle like are killing it. I'm like, what are you doing? Janelle will never tell, but I'm always like, what are you doing? I'll text her on the side, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just doing this. I'm like, share that, because that, as simple as it may be, I mean, serious. Raise your hand if you want to know what Janelle's doing. Janelle! Jerk. Honestly, like, it's simple. You may think to yourself, well, it's not anything. I'm just following up with people. Girl, you have no idea. People don't realize, like, you think but not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody resonates information the same way. You have to share what you're doing, literally exactly what you're doing, because you're going to inspire people to do the same exact thing, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, is she following up with 50 people a day? If that's what I got to do, I'm going to do it. If you told me I would do it, whatever you're doing, I'll do it. So honestly, for everybody, like, you guys, if you're creating the results, your team is going to want to do what you're doing, because they're going to look at you and be like, wow, she's doing it, right? So inspire because you're inspired. So that it goes back to motivating yourself. What are you going to do? Like when you're not feeling it, when you're in that place, that slump, that dip, what do you do to get out of that? You have to be able to know what motivates Christine, know what motivates Kelly, know what motivates Marnie and Nicole and Jess and April and Janelle and Michaela and Stacy and Lydia, right? You got to know how to motivate yourself. Another thing, it's funny that we're all talking about this. You know what builds motivation is confidence. Confidence. When you're shouting your team out, when you're like, you know, you can send a text message, right? You can send a text message to somebody in your downline. You can send a message to somebody in your front line. You can go on their personal Facebook page and give them a shout out, post a funny GIF. I hate saying that word. Don't know what it is. GIF. You can post one of them. You can send postcards. You can send a card. You can send a little prize. It does not have to be expensive. Something meaningful. Recognizing them, because you know what? When I first joined Scentsy, I was recognized and appreciated and for everything I did, everything. And coming from no experience, not sure if this had any actual like longevity or stability in this business. I was just like, I'm going to keep doing it. And when I kept getting the recognition and the certificates and the pins and the charms and the gifts and the shout outs, right? I knew that I was doing something right. So it kept me going in that direction, doing more and more. And I was like, maybe me? Like I can do this? Okay. And it created more belief that I could do it, which created momentum and motivation, you guys, which created results. Okay. Confidence goes a long way. Are you pulling numbers? Are you looking at your numbers every single month? How? Because honestly, your numbers are the hard evidence. It's the proof is in the pudding. I'm just full of all these sayings. I feel like my mother. She always says like these weird things, and here I am trying to like make an analogy to you guys. The proof is in the pudding, but it is. Are you looking at your numbers? Because if not, you're just going off of what? What are you going off of? You have to be able to pull your numbers and see who your rock stars are, who's consistently sponsoring, who's consistently sponsoring, who is booking part, like where the PRV is, and reach out to them. You've got to build leaders under you, you guys. Duplication, right? And if you're not looking at your numbers, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know, hey, maybe they were like killing it month after month after month. And then the past 2 months, they've had really, really like not great months, crappy PRV. And so now you're noticing and you're like, hey, is everything okay? Sometimes it just takes you asking your team if they're okay and having nothing to do with Scentsy to build that connection and make them feel like seen. And like, that's all they needed to do was get that off their chest, right? Building confidence is huge. Recognition and appreciation is free. You can go extra, sure, absolutely. But confidence builds motivation. Confidence builds motivation. Motivation builds results, okay? So keep, like the recognition is going to keep putting your team or that individual in the right direction. Because you're like, it's like a child. I don't mean to say it's like a child, but like, you know, when you tell your children like, good job, they'll do more of that. Recognize the behaviors you want repeated. Okay? Recognize the behaviors you want repeated. And you don't always have, it doesn't have to be for like, you're over 1,000 PRV this month, or you are sponsoring 3 people this month. Congratulations. It could be, oh my gosh, you went live. I know how much of a big deal that is. Awesome job. Or I know how hard you're working this month. I know that you reached out to a bunch of people. Like, keep going, right? Like, you don't have to recognize the actual results. You can recognize the effort. Okay? And the last thing that I wanted to say, and I forgot, I'm like, why did I always forget what I'm about to say? Does anybody have a question while I remember what I was just going to say?
I was going to like say one thing.
Please.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Oh, just like when you said that no one can motivate us but like ourselves. Like I kind of disagree because like you, like if I have a you, Colleen, like instantly after like I'm on like high motivation or like
because
you
you
know
already want it.
yeah, like maybe like you motivating me like motivates myself, but just like even just like words from you, because then it like puts me in check, like I can't mess up now because I just told somebody what I'm doing. And
So
like
like
that makes
going back, right? Going back to know what motivates you. So I just happen to be a motivator for you. But also, like I said, you can't motivate anybody unless they already want it. Okay? Which you already want it. I know you do, right? I know that you want it. And I just happen to be one of those people for you that like I can resonate with you. I can relate to you. You can relate to me and you hear what I'm saying and feel it, right?
Yeah.
Like we happen to have that connection. So I help motivate and inspire you because I'm just one of those people. Like I said, find who those people are for you, right? But you're not going to be able to resonate with every person on your team. There's a lot of factors because one, you already want it, and two, I'm one of your motivators. But you're not going to be that for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last thing I was going to say is don't focus on the people that aren't motivated. Okay? Don't focus. We talked about this last week a little bit, but don't chase everybody around because you think you can motivate them and you know that they have all the potential in the world. They got it. They got it. You know they got it. Right? And then they fall off or something happens. You can only show up as much as they show up. You can only want it as much as they do. I always tell people, I will meet you where you are. I will meet you halfway. I spent so much time in the beginning portion of my leadership meeting people way too far. Like pretty much I'll do the work for you. And it spiraled. Like I was creating crazies. You don't want to do that. Focus on the people that want it and focus on your own business. Always focus on your business. Don't focus on the people that are not motivated and don't want it. Nope, you can't make them want it. You're not their boss. And if they do want it, they know where you are. And if you keep putting out the information and sharing what you're doing to succeed and building your truths, then they'll pick it up when they're ready for it. All you can do is keep putting it out there. Keep putting it out there. That's what I do, right? That's what anybody does. That's all you can do is do the lead from the front, walk the walk, talk the talk, and people will follow you if they want it. Okay? That's all I got. You guys got it?
I just want to say something, because you guys are all leaders. I want you guys to also put in your head, if you don't hit your numbers, don't think you failed. Because I think everyone always is like, oh my God, I need to hit my numbers. I got to keep this title. I got to keep this title. Me personally, I hit director in November of 2018. I didn't hit my numbers for another year after that, but I saw what the paycheck was that November, and I said to myself, I'm not giving up. We see lots of leaders that don't hit their numbers and they fall off. And to me, my paycheck was my motivation. I didn't hit director's numbers until October of 2019, then hit them in November again. So that was my first time hitting them 2 months in a row. But guess what? It was the last day of each month that I hit those numbers. So I wasn't like, I was stressing out. Then I finally hit my numbers last month again. And then I'm already at my director's numbers this month. It's because I had to tell myself, like when I first hit it, that money was my motivation. And if I get down on myself, then I'm not going to ever hit these director numbers again. So I just want you guys to know, all of these big leaders that we look up to, they have failed. They didn't hit their numbers right off and then continually hit their numbers. They just never gave up and they had a motivation. So I want you guys not to get down if you don't hit your numbers each month. That's all I just wanted to say, because you didn't fail, you're just learning.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to hear that because I'm nervous that I'm not going to hit my numbers this month. It's only because it's my first month of actually being a superstar consultant. So I'm kind of nervous. I've always hit them with being a star consultant. Well, maybe 1 or 2 months I didn't, but I'm just more nervous of not getting And you know me, that's, I always get down on myself if I don't. So I keep pushing, but I'm not going to do it all myself this time. I have a team behind me and they're actually starting to pick it up too. So
Mhm.
still kind of nervous though.
Just don't give up. And like a lot of people, guys, I had never not been at title as a director. I got paid as a director every single month. And then I hit star director and I was like, this isn't happening. But it pushed me to the next level because this is what I want. Do I want to be a superstar director? Yes. Do I want to make $10,000 a month? Yes. So I know that I gotta up the ante, right? And I have to grow into my numbers. If I want to get paid a title, I've got to grow into my numbers. I have to. Jess hit, right? Her team was smaller. I just looked at her numbers this morning, her team size, and I was like, honestly, I think you're going to be good from here on out. I really do, Jess, because you know what? You grew into your numbers, meaning like you can hit director, you can hit like a title or new promotion on like, they say like the good months, right? Like the fall months, it's easier because PRV, like you got that wind at your back and everybody's thriving. And then like things slow down and I've had people hit director at 9 people, 8 people, like crazy, right? And then they don't hit it again. Just like Jess said, they give up, right? They give up and they get discouraged. But you have to think, what do I need to get there? And Jess knew I got to grow into my numbers. I've got to keep sponsoring. I've got to keep building. Okay. And she did. She did. It didn't matter how long it took her or what it took. She did what she had to do. And now she's here. And I'm pretty sure she's here consistently right now. I'm pretty sure she is.
I think we started this month at 27 on our team, 9 right now. And everyone is doing, like not everyone, but like they're not doing the $20 join special because they want a free kit. These are people that actually didn't have the money. So I know Nicole always said just like to push that $20 kit, but I have some girls that joined and they're legit at $1,500 and it's only May 16th because they didn't have the 99 to join. So Nicole, when you get worried about that $20 join kit, don't push it out there because you never know who is going to be taking that kit and being like Colleen says, your superstar.
And maybe they didn't see the value. They can't justify spending the $99 because they don't know if it's going to work out for them. They're still doubtful and skeptical when they join. So that's why you need an onboarding system to get them results. Because once they see that, they're like, whoa, I can do this, right? So guys, you're killing it. I'm so proud of you. Like, just keep whatever you want. It's not going to happen overnight. Just keep going. If you're doing the income-producing activities, remember we had a call about a healthy, balanced business, right? A healthy, wealthy business. You got to do all of them together. All of those income-producing activities go together, not one, not two, all of them. And you will build the business and organization you want. And you be a leader and you create duplication and create leaders under you. Okay. So I love you guys. Enjoy your Saturday and we will talk on Tuesday.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.